thing's a mess, but so we can laugh with Symbio Joe in person. Okay, it looks like we're live. I think we're live. Symbio,
is he drunk again?
For starting us off. So I think we should probably do that again while I'm messing around and trying to fix stuff in here. So we got a special edition of the Creature Conference for you today, and to get us ready for it, Symbio Joe did a little write-up for us. So we've got Flynn with us again here, helping with comments. So Flynn, why don't you lead us into this edition of the Creature Conference by giving us a little read of what Symbio Joe wrote up for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, now for tonight's main event, fighting for the right to be right. In the Void Corner, wearing the purple trunks, coming in at £529, the Creature Conference. And in the Money Corner, wearing grey trunks, coming in at £2,646, the Hype Train. Let's get ready to rumble!
Hey, fantastic. Great job, buddy. I love it. Woo!
Awesome. Joe, that was brilliant.
That was great, man.
Okay, I have the perfect picture for that. Like, we have Marco here, we have me here, we have Nick here, okay, and this is the Hype Train.
Karen is the Hype Train. She's flat on her face.
Yeah,
I'm still messing with crap on my.
Well, the Hype Train is.
I just wanted to share those beauties with you.
Oh, those guys you've been working on. So what are those for? Let people know.
These are my camera just went sideways. These are from the board game from Cool Mini or Not, the Cthulhu Death May Die board game.
Yeah.
And my autofocus refuses to focus on the abominations. I will try to fix that. I have to say, those are magnificent miniatures, especially when you consider that these are basically, they have a few mold lines, but that's basically it. They come assembled in that way in the box, and they are like the most gruesome things I have painted so far. Look at those tiny heads down as feet.
Gross.
I just love those. And I wasn't sure about him in the first place, like having this tentacle beard. I actually didn't like I don't like my Cthulhu wearing a beard, but painting that thing, I've come to love it as well. And so what I will try to do is, I persuaded Mr. Pink to actually buy this game after I have got the game from my brothers as a birthday present.
Yep.
And I convinced him to play that, to buy that game as well. So we could play with that we could play together with the game online. And he did the Rumour, and bought that thing for his lovely wife.
Oh, the Homer, yeah.
The Rumour? Homer Simpson, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you didn't buy it for yourself.
No, I bought it for my wife.
You bought it for her.
She pulled up Homer Simpson and bought me a model that she wanted.
Okay, okay. Then you're even at least.
Yeah,
but we are not, because I have promised you to...
What's that? You promised?
I've promised to play the game with you for ages, and I haven't done it until now. But we'll try to fix that mistake.
Okay,
Nick, just a quick question. Are you sorting out the layout on YouTube? Because everyone's saying it's a bit jittery.
Yeah, it's a bit jittery. So what I did is I killed my video on YouTube, because I don't think we need my video right now, to see if that might help the stream. But I'm still getting an error from YouTube that the stream is messy, which is annoying. Hold on. I'm going to do a speed test and hope it doesn't crash my computer. I definitely know that no one else in my house is on the internet right now.
Yeah.
Because it should be going okay. Like, I thought my video might be slowing it down, but I'm still getting the warning. Marco, is your audio on?
Yes.
I
think my audio's on. Do you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Yep.
So I guess we start our stream today with making excuses why we didn't work on our main model, right? Because Simon just started saying what else he did instead of painting on Karen.
Okay. According to
let me continue that trend. And Simon had some very special Cthulhu models, I painted some sponges.
Sponges,
like
nice.
Sponges.
Did you paint the sponges with
literally
sponges?
Painted a sponge.
Did you paint it with a sponge?
No.
Oh, that would be perfect if you did.
The thing is, I took these sponges up from a coral reef like 15 years ago in Indonesia, and had them lying around for like 15 years.
Nice.
And now I try to really paint some sponges. And the thing is, try to paint a sponge. I mean, you have no idea how much paint it sucks up till you see any color on the outside. It's a sponge.
Oh yeah.
Almost as if they had like an appropriate name or something.
I've had like. It's probably some kind of special sponge. I have no idea, but it's from a coral reef. It's a real sponge, not just the kind of you have in your kitchen, but the real one.
Yeah.
I think I've had about 10 layers of gloss varnish on it.
Oh, okay. I thought you just took a big bucket, filled it up with I don't know. Filled it up with PVA glue and soaked it until it was full.
That would have been a good idea, but I'm not that wise yet. No, I just layers and layers and layers of paint, and still wondered why the sponge didn't just color up. But yeah, that's what I did.
So we're getting some feedback that the audio is a little weird on YouTube. I'm not really sure why, because OBS says that it's outputting good. I can see my audio. Oh god, what have I done? I can see my audio on it. I can see Moloch and Hydra's audio on it. It seems like you guys are coming through. So I don't really know what the dealie is. Anyway, so yeah, like we started with Symbio Joe's. God, why? So when I ask Google to do a speed test for me, Google tells me that I have very fast internet. But when I ask YouTube, another Google property, it tells me that YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So I think this might be a YouTube problem. So I'm sorry if this is busted for you folks, but it sounds like audio is coming through okay, except for it sounds like the audio from Marco and Simon is not great, but I'm just pulling it from OBS, so that might be an OBS thing. Symbio Joe says we're up to standard. Our standard of bust. I like it. So it seems a bit better now.
Something has to go wrong.
Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do, we're not going to worry about video for a second, because we wanted to start this off by talking some shit, as captured. So this week on the Rumour engine, oh, Marco, just to let you know, are you able to look at YouTube?
Yes, I am.
While we're talking? Okay, and Simon, you can't look at YouTube?
I can. I just opened it on my phone.
Okay, cool. Because I'm going to show some pictures, and I think the only way you're going to see them is if you're looking on YouTube. So yeah, so this week on the Rumour engine on Warhammer community site, this picture that I'm showing here showed up, this weird tail with the pincers on the end of it, and immediately, like, a lot of people were messaging me being like, oh my god, is this a Tyranid? Is this a Tyranid? Is this a Tyranid? And yeah, it seems like a lot of people think that this is a Tyranid. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this is that this is not the only Rumour engine that we've gotten recently that looked possibly Tyranid. So another one that we got was this one, which we got a while back. People might remember this, and definitely this was, people were like, oh my god, it's a Tyranid, it's a Tyranid, it's a Tyranid, it's a Lictor, it's a Tyranid. And then a little ways back, we also got this one. And as soon as people saw that, I got people being like, it's a Tyranid, it's a Tyranid, it's a Tyranid. But as we recently discovered, this picture is definitely not a Tyranid. This picture is from the new Be'lakor model. As many people told me when I posted the teaser for this stream, oh, that's Be'lakor's tail, it's Be'lakor's tail. And what I wanted to get into is that my main hope for today was that we could talk about this most recent Rumour Engine picture, and maybe also talk about the kind of recent one that looks maybe like a Lictor tail. And I wanted to get kind of like Hydra, Moloch, and Flinhammer's opinion on what they think of these rumors and whether they look like Tyranids to them, and just kind of like discuss what makes a Tyranid tail and how this may or may not be it. Yeah, but the reason I included the Be'lakor image in here is that even though this rumor has been confirmed as Be'lakor, because everyone messaged about it initially, well, some people messaged about it initially thinking it's a Tyranid, it's kind of become clear that anytime you see anything that's like a tail, for one, a tail with like some kind of stinger or blade on it, and a tail that has armor on it, definitely, a lot of people jump to the conclusion that it's a Tyranid. So that was why I included the Be'lakor thing. Marco or Simon or Flynn, did you guys have anything you wanted to say about like this general idea about people like jumping on anything with a tail and some armor that it looks like a Tyranid?
Maybe because people are starved.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, we just want something new. Anything we'll go for.
We're so starved, we take everything.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that I think that there's a pent up demand for Tyranid stuff, which I think leads to a lot of people like jumping the gun on these things. But
I would also assume that since we are living in social media and we're all in a bubble, we just get those people who's saying, "Ooh, is that a Tyranid?" Because we are apparently into Tyranids, and those who are into demons will probably shout at someone who's very much into demons, like, "Oh, this is a demon tail."
Oh my god, Jade Finchstein is recording a podcast right now with a NASA guest. That's pretty amazing. Sorry.
Wow.
And we are what?
So yeah, that's the reason I included the Be'lakor one. But let's go to the one that showed up this week. So if you
Although I have to admit that the Be'lakor tail looks from all the pictures to me the most Tyranid.
You think so? Why do you say that?
Because when you look at the picture, the tail tip is not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the carapace.
Yes.
So all the tails before have, from design and painting wise, a very softened edge, where those different pieces of the carapace connect. And for example, this one, the pincer, those are very rounded edges, and there's no clear like edge. Yeah, I might repeat myself, but
no, I know what you mean. Like it's not as sharp.
Vocabulary I'm capable of producing right now. So yeah, okay. The edge.
Yeah, and
when you look at the Be'lakor tail carapace, that looks like it could originate from a Hormigaunt or a Termagant.
Yeah, so the Be'lakor tail, like, the number one thing that made me realize, like, as soon as it came out, I'm like, this is not a Tyranid, was because there's a chain in there, and clearly something's, like, chained to a rock, and, like, someone's like, maybe it's a captive Tyranid. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling that. But you're very right that the armor plates on the Be'lakor tail look Tyranidish, but this is the primary reason that I included the Be'lakor tail, is that this is, like, proof that not everything that has a tail with armor plates on it is a Tyranid. Because a lot of people are like, oh, Tyranids, armor plates, tails, like, that's definitely them. But I think that Tyranids have a very defined aesthetic that they use, but it's not an aesthetic that is necessarily exclusive to Tyranids. Like Games Workshop does borrow a lot of their stuff and apply it to other armies pretty liberally. So, like for example, those angled plates. Like, where else have we seen angled plates? What about these guys? Like Dark Eldar. We've got some angled plates on them. Definitely, they're not as organic looking. They're not as weathered. And then, like we talk about, like angled plates and carapaces, we've also got this little guy, the Dark Eldar Talos, which is not strictly Tyranid, but like if you look at its tail and the armor plates on its tail, and then even a bit of the armor plates on its back carapace, they're angled armor plates in the style that you would expect to see from a Tyranid. And this is why I did a video about sculpting Tyranid armor plates, but it's also a video on sculpting Dark Eldar armor plates, because they use similar aesthetics between the two lines. And the reason I wanted to bring that up was just as further evidence that when you get a tail that has some angled armor plates on it, you can't necessarily assume it's a Tyranid, because though that is something that Tyranids use, it is something that Games Workshop is not afraid to use on other models.
Yep.
Did Hannibal Lictor seriously just say this picture with the chains is Bellicor? Hannibal Lictor, are you trolling me, you bastard? Sorry, you might have missed the part where I explained that I kept this in here. I know this is Bellicor, but what I was trying to evidence is that a lot of people thought this was, well, some people thought this was a Tyranid in the early stages, and it's because Games Workshop reuses certain design elements that belong to Tyranids.
Chains. We will get chains, I'm sure.
Yes. Yep. Well, they already showed this model, so we're not getting this one. It's also the case that if you look at any Tyranid that has armor plates on its tail, it doesn't have armor plates all the way around its tail. Like this one has armor plates on top, on the bottom, on the side, whatever. Usually if this was a Tyranid, there would be like some exposed flesh underneath it.
Yeah, probably. Right. Or if you look at this this horrific model I'm doing, it would have probably been some sort of toxin sac plus scythe and tail on.
Hydra, are you moving right now? Because I think your video might... Oh, your video froze. Oh, now it's back. Okay, we got it. Sorry.
But I got a question,
yes.
Nick. Do you think there's any chance these parts might be a sneak peek for Tyranid?
Well, I definitely want to get into that. So let's... First, I wanted to explain why the Bellicor tail was included here. And last, I want to talk about the thing that might be a Lictor tail, because I feel like it's the most promising. But next, I wanted to talk about this thing that came up today. The thing that has the two kind of stingers on it. And just kind of talk about... Or not, sorry, it didn't come out today. It came up this week. But what do you guys think about this one? Like, Simon, you already mentioned that when you look at the thing with the pincer on the end, this tail that showed up in the rumour engine, that it doesn't look Tyranid enough to you because the plates are not sharp enough. They're kind of rounded. Marco, what do you think about the tail with the pincers that they showed this week?
Well, it looks suspiciously close to the Red Terror design.
Mm-hmm. So that's a good comment. Let's pull up the Red Terror. I've got it here. One sec. I think I've got it here. God damn it, I don't have it here. I'm the worst. Let me fix that. Oh, and I gotta do the Red Terror Tyranids, because when I looked it up earlier, I got something about the Soviets.
That is good.
Comrade.
Okay.
Duh.
So, classic Red Terror model. Got it up here. So if we look at the Red Terror, it's definitely got that kind of pincer tail, and then it's got that kind of spike thing in the middle, but it's a lot bigger than what we see in that rumour engine picture. Like, for comparison,
Agreed.
I don't know how to pull them up together, but here's the rumour engine picture, which has got the two pincers on the side and that spine in the middle. And here's the Red Terror picture, which is much, much bigger. So some people have said, oh, well, it might still be the Red Terror. They could have changed it up. But the rest of the tail... Okay, so they're definitely not going to do a tail exactly like this if they do a Red Terror again, because we don't have any other Tyranids that have these weird vents in the tail, like all the way down it, like the Red Terror does. I mean, they could. But to me, if you're going to make a Red Terror, it's going to be at least warrior size, if not larger. Like a Tyrant size or something. It's supposed to be a Tyranid monstrous creature.
Much larger.
Yeah.
Of course.
So if you look at this thing, if this thing is on a warrior or Tyrant or larger model, the scale of the detail is horrible. Like, as Simon said, the armor plates are not very sharp in terms of the sculpting. They look kind of rounded. And if you were to take this bit and magnify this to be Tyrant sized, you would be very sad at how low detail it is. Like, it's not very sharp. So that leads me to believe that this thing is at most warrior sized, if not smaller. So that's how I would dismiss the Red Terror comment. But there is a lot of people who commented on that, and it does certainly look like the pincer on the end of the Red Terror. The other thing that some people have said is that this looks like the common Tyranid pincer tail, but I would disagree. So I pulled some examples of Tyranid pincer tails. So, for example, we've got the pincer tail from the Flying Hive Tyrant, which... Oh, goddamn, which one's my one? So if you compare the two, they're pretty different. The Flying Hive Tyrant one is a very specific kind of pincer tail, but look at the style of the pincers on either side. Look at the weird thing in the middle. That's not really showing up for me in the rumour engine. And then another example is the pincer tail off a standard Hive Tyrant. So that looks more like this. So the pincers, again, are a little different from that Flying Hive Tyrant tail. And instead of having a spike in the middle, it's got this weird kind of knuckle thing on the end, which is very different from what we saw in the rumour engine. And then there's this whole knuckle structure on the end of the tail is something that we've seen on a number of Tyranids. So if you look at the Carnifex tail, the scything Thresher, Scythe, or whatever tail, it's got a weird knuckle thing on the end of it, like the Tyrant does. And then even if you look at something really... Oh, if you look at the little tiny tail on the Harspex, our Angry Bullfrog, it has the same kind of knuckle design. And you can see kind of scything talon shapes and armor plates on it. And then the last one is... Oh, I don't have it here, but the tongue of the Harspex also has that weird knuckle design on the end of it. So, for me, none of these look like what we're seeing in the rumour engine. It's also the case that Tyranid tails tend to have armor plates on the top part of them, but this one seems to have armor plates all over the place. So yeah, that was the pincer tail thing. Flynn, what are you feeling about this?
So, with this one, it's like the armor plating is too small for whatever it's going to be. If someone was going to say it's like the Red Terror, it's like the pincers are too small as well for it for me. To be honest, it looks more like it's a cross between a pincer and the bone mace for the Carnifex.
Yeah.
Instead, more like anything. But it just looks like the plates are on the underside rather than on the top side. So either it's the angle we're seeing at, or it's something else.
I really like the point you made there about the similarities to the bone mace tail, because you're very right that at the base of the bone mace tail, before the kind of mace part happens, you got a weird kind of armor setup that looks more like scales than it does like typical Tyranid armor, and I can definitely see that in the rumour engine picture, that the way the plates are kind of shoved in one alongside each other, kind of rounded, that definitely harkens to the mace tail and the Carnifex for me. But the other thing is that when you look at the pincers on it, they look pretty rounded, whereas when you have pincers on Tyranid tails, they tend to look like little scything talons. They're blade shaped, so they're fat on one side, thin on the other side, as if there's a slicing edge on them that you would expect from a blade. Whereas the ones on this pincer, they look more like pincers, they look like something you would see on a scorpion, or the more rounded.
That's just saying the scorpion thing is one of the things I first went to, and now looking at it, just from what I said, I'm thinking it could be more sort of like dinosaur. So for the lizardman for Age of Sigmar,
Yeah.
and one of the comments, Lathion says, "Have we considered it could be the new Ripperjack for Necromunda?" And for that, I think it looks too big to be for a Ripperjack because the Ripperjacks are quite small, and I've got quite a few of them. So while it'd be nice to have more stuff for Necromunda, it could be something in that area. I'm more leaning towards it could be for another monster for Lizardmen.
Yeah. Like when I was trying to like place this thing, I guess maybe lizardmen. I guess maybe demons. Maybe some kind of weird war cry monster. It feels very
Resculpt of Skilla would be my hint.
What's that?
Resculpt of Skilla.
Skilla. Who's Skilla?
Yeah. Skilla is a very not well made. Of course, it's taken from the Greek mythology, but it used to be a chaos spawn with a name.
Shit. It's chaos. Let's see if I can find it.
It's a ugly model.
Is it this thing? The angry monkey with the bitey scorpion tail? Interesting.
You've recently got a model as well.
Did it?
I know it's like in the last 10 years, but that model's still semi-recent. It's in Finecast.
It's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Angry, punchy, yelly one.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, everyone is going crazy for Skilla in the chat. So Krautmal is guessing something Slaneshi. I would get behind that. A very nice person is saying the Red Terror deserves something way cooler looking tail, and I definitely agree. Okay, so a very nice person has hit on something that I feel very strongly about. That if this is the Red Terror, it doesn't look good enough. So I don't want it to be the Red Terror, because if we get this as the Red Terror, that's not cool. Which leads me to the last one that I wanted to talk about, which was this tail. The one that, to me, is the most obviously Tyranid looking of these three tails that we're talking about today that have been featured recently. But, as a very nice person commented, I don't want this to be a Lictor tail, because if this is a Lictor tail, I'm disappointed.
I can tell you it's not a tail.
How can you tell me that?
So if you look in the top right, it looks like it splits into two. So I haven't seen any Tyranid created that has a split tail. That is from Games Workshop. Obviously, people done the conversions and stuff.
Yes.
So with that little bit there, with the corner of the top logo that splits, and either it could be a whip or something else, like a flesh hook or something, but it's not a tail, and the plates are layered in the wrong direction as well.
Absolutely agree.
So that was a very good observation, Flynn. Like, that is the thing that also weirded me out. That if you look at that top right corner, this is clearly bifurcated. It curves upwards, and then there's some kind of weird split there up in that corner, and then it curves downwards. So again, if this is a Tyranid tail, I feel really weird about it because I don't think it looks great.
It will never be Tyranid.
Yeah, and like everyone, if I have to hear one more person make it's a Primaris Lieutenant with a Tyranid tail as a whip, if I hear one more person make that joke has gotten so old. But it could be a whip. Like, maybe this is some weird Slaneshi whip thing. Maybe this is Lucius the Eternal, and he's got his whip.
Please don't.
Why?
Because the old whip was not a great sculpt, but it had the amazing concept behind it, and this would be, as it would be for the Red Terror. I am sorry for the poor creature who has to deal with that whip tail thing, but it's not good. It doesn't look good. Might be the paint job, might be the scale, it might be tiny, and then it's okay.
Yeah.
But it looks a little bit, unsophisticated.
Yes, and this is the thing. This is why I do not want this to be a Tyranid. That this could be a Tyranid, and it might be great if we're getting Tyranid like previews or whatever, but I don't want this to be a Tyranid because it's not good enough. Like, it looks like some weird chaos stuff. So, just in the comments, I'm seeing that I like that Vermis commented, Finecast Skilla looks like he should be perched on top of the Imperial Palace, throwing barrels down at the plumbers. Because if you look at Skilla, he's clearly the Warhammer version of Donkey Kong. Look at this dude.
And Diddy Kong's in the tail.
Still, this is
Good
the
observation.
second sculpt of Skilla, Nick. Could you show us the first sculpt, please?
The first one? 1 sec.
Oh, the first.
Wait, you mean
oh,
this one?
geez.
Is it this or no? This one.
Just wait for
I
Shep
kind
in
of
the
like
stream.
the first. Oh yeah, sorry.
Bit
You mean the
delayed.
one that's more monkey-y or doggy with the like big barnacle spikes on its back?
Exactly, it's doggy. Yeah.
I kind of like that one. I feel like this one's got character. This one's like old Hammer character.
They've done 3 sculpts for him then.
3.
Yeah, they've got the one that's to the left of the one you just haven't had on, with like the 2 sort of like tails with actually a claw
Oh,
at
the
the end of
doggy
it.
one. I didn't realize
Then-
that was it.
Then you've got the next. Yeah, then there's another one with that one just there, and then it's got the current Finecast one.
Current Finecast one is rough. What were you gonna say, Marco, about the dog-faced one?
I have one painted up
Oh, nice.
for my old Beastman army
Yeah.
back in the day.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I used to like him, but of course it's looking really dated now.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah,
Looking
it's
dated.
nostalgia. It's nostalgia. That excuses pretty much anything. But I got a question on the kids. When looking on social media and the forums,
Yeah.
I noticed that, of course, many people were hopeful that this might be a sign of new Lictors coming up.
Yes.
I would be interested to hear what you guys think about how a Lictor kit like the Zoanthrope kit, for example, should look these days.
Okay, so
I
like,
have a big suggestion to make. Make it have a tentacle face.
Really?
That's pushing the boat out.
Amazing.
Radical.
Yeah.
oh, I missed before. It wasn't actually a very nice person. Tom Wilson was the first one to comment that they didn't want that tail for the Red Terror because it didn't look cool enough. And I very much agree with that kind of stuff.
Okay, but honestly, back to the Lictor, I would be interested because we all think we know how Lictor should look, like pretty much.
Yeah.
What would the kit be able to offer more than just a standard Lictor? What kind of options would you want to see?
Someone recently, I can't remember who it was, but please someone correct me. Someone was commenting on how it would be cool to have a Lictor that was a shooty Lictor. That was like a stealth sniper Lictor. And I really like that idea.
Ah. So
Like-
make it a dual kit for 2 different options.
Everyone's
And then
watched
you need to have a
Evangelion, right?
different head.
What's that?
And then you need a different head because then you would rob it of its lobo tentacles and rob it of its use.
True.
Wasn't the concept behind the Lictor that it sneaks up and takes someone's brain and
Yes.
consumes its
Yes,
memories and gains more knowledge and blah.
certainly.
And it kills the enemy commander,
Yeah, and eats
which
their
no
brain.
Lictor
Yeah.
for 2 decades has ever been able to do.
Not since second edition has a Lictor
Yep.
killed the
That's
enemy
why-
commander.
I'd say clawed feet instead of the hooves, because if it's meant to be able to infiltrate, go through tunnels, the hooves just don't work for me.
I agree.
Yep. Removing hooves where you can.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like climbing trees and buildings and stuff. How are you going to climb a building with hooves?
Agreed.
Climbing buildings. Look at this. It's a massive Lictor.
You don't want to go and clippity clop around the battlefield when it's meant to be sneaking.
I couldn't agree more onto the hoofs. I think the whole concept back in the day was interesting to just have a mishmash of mammals and lizard and insect parts, but the hoofs look dated for me. Maybe only for me, but I have never
Nope.
really liked the hoofs.
Absolutely there with you.
Hold on a second. I'm just looking at some comments.
Yeah.
This is
there's one
fiddly.
What?
I said this is fiddly. There are way too many joints on this thing.
I thought you loved it. I thought it was your new true love.
You can be just happy that Canada is so far away from me right now.
Earlier in the comments, Bargaste was saying that the Swarmlord art has a split tail, but it doesn't look like this. So it would be interesting if this was like a Swarmlord split tail, but it doesn't look amazing, and it's really small for what a Swarmlord should
From
be.
that, a very nice person's gone, has a Tyranid blade ever so gracefully slapped on the end of a tentacle. Usually there's at least some sort of connection point.
Thank you. A very nice person. Yes, that's the other thing. One of the other reasons I don't want this to be a Lictor. If you look at how it connects to the tail, there's just like a straight line. And then the tentacle just like plugs into it. So I pulled some images of what a Lictor tail should look like. Contributed by our very fine buddy Hydra from the Lictor he sent me. So some people have commented on how the armor plates don't make sense. That if you look at the way that the armor plates... Oh, I'll get rid of this. We don't need it anymore. If you look at the way the armor plates are shaped on the tail, they point away from the tip of the tail, like back towards the body or whatever of the model. And then if you look at the... You can't really see it here, but these Lictor plates are angled... The point of the plate is pointing towards the end of the tail. And then you've got this cool, like, hook thing on the end. Hold on, I've got... Nope, that's not the right way. Oh, you can kind of see it here. So this is an overhead picture of like a primed Lictor. So you can kind of see the points of the armor plates heading towards the tip of the tail, and then you can see that kind of hook on the end. It kind of looks like it's coming out from under that plate. I wouldn't say it's super graceful, but I would call it a little more graceful than whatever this is. So yet another reason that I do not want this to be a Lictor. And other people are saying that it could be a tentacle whip. I could buy this being a tentacle whip, but the armor plates are a little weird, even then. It's a Tyranid tentacle whip.
So a little bit back, Karjan said, my guess is Sylvan due to the tentacles looking faintly like the tree lore tentacles and the fact that we have a lot of insects and stuff, like the endless spells for Sylvaneth. The reasons why I don't think it's a Tyranid is because the armor plates don't read Tyranid to me. Then he goes, later goes, check it out and stuff. There's also some knobby things on the tentacle, which looks almost like the tentacle splits. I think that's what we talked about earlier.
So, yeah. Long story short, I don't want this to be a Tyranid piece because it doesn't look well enough sculpted. But as Vermis, I think Vermis commented, not that well sculpted is kind of par for like recent nids. Like the Zone Throw kit was amazing, but as we covered in our original Creature Conference video, I don't love the Malceptor in terms of sculpting. So, and then did someone else make a cheeky comment that this could be by the person who sculpted the Death Guard? Because they were not great.
That was Joe.
Joe?
Symbio Joe.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like
you said that.
Which isn't to say, like, I don't know. There's some of the Death Guard are great, and some of them are not so great. So I like the ones that are great. I don't love the ones that are not so great. But Marco, in response to your question, when it comes to like Lictors, I really like the mantis thing with Lictors, like the mantis claws, like the mantis shape. So I'd want to preserve that in a revised Lictor. I also really like what Roberto did with his sketches, and I'm going to explore them more in like the lictors I'm working on now, where he had the end of the mantis claw, instead of just being a scything talon, it was an actual like gripping hand on the end, with like not hand but like 3 claws that could grip, and it almost made it look like it could like shoot out and grab someone, like a tentacle or like a giant flesh hook type thing. So I would love to have that on a lictor. What about you? What are your thoughts on like what a new lictor should look like?
Who is you?
Marco. He hasn't responded.
Well, you know you can't ask me. You will only ever hear the same answer from me. Make it just like the first Jess Goodwin sketch with a big Metaluna forehead, and make it more old school and more intelligent and more interesting. Because I think the Lictor would be one of the models which I would really enjoy having a kind of head sculpt which isn't just the same lizard head like everything else. So this is kind of obvious. Another obvious thing is, of course, you would have the option to make a Death Leaper out of one of the lictors in the box.
Yeah, like we did with the Neurothrope, right?
Exactly.
With the Zoanthropes.
Exactly. Other than that, I agree that the whole Mantis theme could be explored a bit more design-wise, because I think it obviously the first Scything Talents were on the Lictor. They were based on the Mantis theme, and this is a very fruitful road to take. I'm kind of surprised that I don't have many more ideas myself. I wouldn't have thought of a Snipey Lictor, and I don't think it's really fitting for the image I have in my head. But on top of the archetype, I'm not very creative on seeing many possible options. This is why I was wondering what you guys thought about it.
What would you think about the Suicide Bomber Lictor?
Ooh.
No.
Isn't that what you're making there, Simon? A giant suicide bomber lictor?
Yep. I wasn't thinking about it, but you're absolutely right. I was just trying to think about how could the Lictor possibly start to find new ways to take out the enemy lieutenant. That would be thinking that he's still fulfilling this role, but there will be probably other roles for it to fulfill. And I think that's with alternates that should be always the question: what's the creature supposed to solve? Which problem does the hive mind have to what the creature is the answer?
Yeah. And
of course, well, having an answer for a lot of questions is pretty obvious. Is probably the most effective. So the Lictor has its camo, so it can infiltrate. So it doesn't make sense to make it big and shooty, and because that role is fulfilled by more creatures than it's good for the swarm. Yeah. So what's it gonna do?
I think you're on the right track, but also on the wrong track at the same time.
Yes, that's my
first thought was the Lictor is supposed to be the intelligent hunting predator type. But I think you've got a point, because the hive mind, every creature is expendable. But I think where you're wrong is just, how does the Lictor suicide? And your ideas before were great. It just wouldn't be a bomb. It just should be a horrible, horrible way for the target to die.
Yeah, well, when I was thinking about the Lictor's purpose, would be an approach to think about how he could exfiltrate the information he's about to gain.
Yeah.
So maybe he's carrying a spore mine on his back, which fills up with gas and carries the brain away.
This is a pretty good idea, actually.
That is
horrible.
Or he's got a
Floaty,
cannon
floaty,
in his
floaty.
butt, and he fires the genetic material out, so the rest of the swarm can get it.
He just has a helium balloon with him, puts the brain into a balloon, and shoots it into the atmosphere.
Yeah,
But it's a good idea, really.
thank you. I'm not convinced, but yeah, might be. Oh, Jesus. I'm about to throw this piece of shit against the wall.
Symbio Joe commented even earlier, in other news, Hydra might be cursed because every time he gets a gift, he has to suffer.
That's what I thought you were chuckling at, because I just read that myself at the same time.
Yeah.
Great success here. I'm actually working.
Good word. I thought you had a headache.
I have a headache, and that had actually to make a decision. Those stupid horns on the barrel, they just have to go, huh? They
Mhm.
have to go.
Yes.
On the exocrine barrel, they look like ass.
Yes.
Gone. Good stuff. Very nice. Very nice.
I'm just trying to see what we missed in the comments.
There's
Vermis hates fantasy sculpted hooves. He thinks they're crap. Brian, was it Peter? Peter Hampson wants more inspiration from Roberto's sketches for the Lictor, like the armored cobra hood on the tail, like Roberto did it. Bargaste was saying they could split some of the Lictor rolls up, so like have different kinds of Lictors, maybe performing different things.
Yeah, but the question would be, why would you do that? Why would you create different units?
I don't know, to get different things. Nicholas Tregijo suggested a terror weapon Lictor, something like an awful tunnel web spider. People are talking about the rending claws being longer, more dexterous, rake-like. Someone else commented on them being raptor-like. I don't know if that was like bird raptor or dinosaur raptor. Barbed raptorial aspect. Apparently it was more present in the second edition.
Oh wait, I have an idea for Lictor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything that the units encounter is technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would an EMP Lictor sound?
Ooh.
Interesting. So like explosive but magnetic.
Or maybe not explosive, but just creating like a massive blackout.
I picture that as a psychic Lictor. Like Shadow in the Warp weaponized.
Which is a good idea.
Like sneaks in and then like delivers like this, because I feel like in 40k we don't really ever
It
talk
would
about
feast
EMP.
on the terror aspect, right?
Yeah. So like a psychic assassin Lictor. That'd be cool.
What I would actually like most is just the terror aspect, of course, raised into the rules again, like we used to have. Like the Tyranid tables before the battle started, having Tyranid effects, and the Lictor being a terror weapon would be the perfect vehicle to spread terror on the ranks of the opposing army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brian Naisbitt says, if the original Lictor is designed to take out commanders, what about something designed to take out key structures or vehicles?
EMP Lictor.
EMP Lictor, or like explosive Lictor.
Guys, you heard it here first, right? The Creature Conference invented the EMP Lictor.
Oh, we could also have a virus Lictor. You remember the virus bomb in 40k?
Yeah.
You could have a Lictor spreading the virus in the enemy ranks.
So
Which
Brian,
is a question
what?
already asked, right? Why does the hive mind employ not more biological warfare?
Yep.
Yeah.
In the book it does, but
Apparently in the Blood of Baal book that I didn't read, I don't know if you guys read it.
Nope.
There's
Nope.
a suicide lictor that sacrificed itself to destroy the shield generators for the Blood Angels.
Ah, nice. You should give him a medal posthumously.
Yeah. The Norn Queen will deal with that. Your
Should
DNA
always-
was worthy.
So
You should
Barghest
always
is
be
also.
remembered.
What was that, Marco?
He should always be remembered for a second or something.
Of course.
So Barghest is saying that they like the Psyker Killer Lictor, like a Nid version of Calexis Assassin. Someone
Agreed.
channels the Shadow and the Warp to murder Psychers. Perhaps a Suicider equipped
think
with
that
a bunch
should
of
be a-
whips that works similar to Goblin Fanatics. That seems a little weird. Sorry, what was that, Flynn?
I think that Shadow and the Warp thing should just be standard on Lictors, because it's designed to take out the enemy leaders all the time. Like, you should have it that they create a blind spot so they can't be seen by Psycho Protection or anything.
Oh.
Okay.
Or maybe
It's like,
I think there could be a specialized lictor, because why would you, I don't know, for when you fight up against Imperial Army or Standard dudes or Tau where you don't have much of psychics running around, why would you have someone using valuable resources for being like super psychic? But when you fight against, for example, Eldar, that would be a massive deal, right?
yeah. Just thinking more of in the lines of, if they were to write it in the rules, it would be easier to just to
Oh, great.
write it in its standard for everything, rather than just because obviously in the fluff you can have they created a lictor specifically designed for it and everything. But I think it's what they need to do is more of the lictor gets the DNA first, like you said earlier. So have it being more of an experimental creature rather than it fits the same look as everything else. It should have that little bit of a difference to it.
Yeah. All right. I feel like we're not looking at the pictures anymore. So I'm just gonna reorganize. Oh, and now I've lost Marco. What the hell? There we go. One moment, please. So yeah, long story short, that is why I don't think that any of those things are Tyranids. Oh god, what am I doing? Does anyone else want to have any final comments on the stuff that we saw?
Yeah, nobody moves. I think I have the thing in position.
Nobody breathe. Karen has assumed the position.
Well, I think it was kind of obvious that many people are stuffed for new Tyranid design, which is a good sign.
Yeah, you're right. That is a very good point. That is what we see from so many people being so keen. Oh my god, the comments are exploding.
Does anyone know when the last
Good,
Tyranid...
because last time
Last time what?
Does anyone know when Forge World released the last Tyranid model? How long ago?
No, do you?
No, I'm just thinking it must have been a long time ago, huh?
It was Karen, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh
Karen
my,
was the last one.
really?
Pretty sure.
And the last new Nid to be done was the Broodlord that came with the blood
You're right.
devastation of Baal.
Which was
wait.
a great sculpt.
Was it really? I thought
Yeah,
that the Patriarch was the
because-
last.
So because the Patriarch comes under as GC the Cults, even if you
Yeah.
try and buy it in the shop or on the website, it comes under that. So you have to go with what they say, because it came out for Devastation of Baal,
Mm-hmm.
but didn't actually get its individual release until well after they brought out the Toxicrete and all the other ones.
Yeah.
So it's just so long without any new models.
Yep.
So, I always thought the Malefact or the Malceptor was the last Tyranid that we got.
Yeah, that came out at the same time as the Toxicrete, obviously
Yeah.
the same kit, but it's just they came out and then after like a month or two afterwards they finally got the Broodlord out on its own.
Oh, okay. the only other thing that I wanted to mention on the like rumor engine pictures that I had on my notes was the one thing that is working in the favor of this being a Tyranid thing is that the way it's painted looks like the Leviathan scheme. And the Leviathan scheme is definitely what Games Workshop would use to, well, you'd expect from its other models that when it premieres a Tyranid model, it uses the Leviathan scheme. So if you look at the coloring of that model, it could be the Leviathan scheme. So that's working in its favor because it's pale flesh, dark armor kind of thing. And then the other thing that someone had suggested in our conversations online was that it could be for Marathi or demons, or I always call it Malekith. Malekith? The other elf thing that hasn't been released yet? Yeah. So it could be some kind of weird demon thing for them.
Okay, maybe we should leave the tails behind before this whole sausage fest turns on itself.
Right.
And I could use your help.
Yes.
Oh Jesus. My Discord is lacking sometimes, so you said something and I didn't hear.
Oh, sorry. Did we say anything? I don't know. No one's talking right now. Tell us what you need help with. Can you hear us now?
Okay. Yes, I can. So
Okay.
I have 4 sets of arms.
Yeah.
And I have 2 hands and 2 scything talons. And I have been wondering what you guys would think about me switching the position of the scything talons. Standard-wise, they are front row.
Yeah, on top.
So the first socket is for the scything talon, the second is for the for the hand.
Yeah.
But I could really use a hand in the first socket, and I was thinking of making the scything talons into those pincer-like things. Let me just grab some of these.
You mean your fancy double talon
and
that
have them in,
Karen comes with?
yeah. So to shorten that thing and have it go like that, like this way, so I am still using both.
Ooh! Ooh! Ooh, that looks sexy.
Oh.
Sorry,
Okay.
loud.
But Karen has pretty beefy front arms and pretty skinny second arms.
Yeah.
And those second arms are for the hands. But I was wondering if it might work if I could switch the arms. So have the hands in the first row and the pincer arms in the second row.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that the pincers make
Do
more
it.
sense on the smaller
Especially with
arms
how you
because they're so long. Sorry, what was that, Flynn?
It's like, especially with how Hydra you're going to position it, like coming over the wall and everything, it makes more sense that if it's climbed up the wall, its main hands that it's used for it will be at the front rather than the scything talons. And as it's gone over as well, it will be more resting its weight on the front limbs. So having the hands there, I think, would look better. So the hands at the front.
Yep. Yeah, I agree, but there's this voice in my head saying, "Well, what are can openers good in the second row?"
Sneaky
When I
stabby
tried
can
to
openers.
imagine how it's having a different position, that it with the secondary limbs or the lower limbs, it's grabbing something, and with the up front, it's tearing something open like a can opener.
Yeah.
It just looks better on the second limb.
Yeah. Well, Simon,
Second turn.
when I think about it, I
Yeah.
picture them kind of like not like sticking like right out, but like kind of like cocked back, as if like it's like holding them back alongside
Yeah,
its body.
that was the look I was going for.
And then when it strikes, it like
Exactly.
snaps them out and grabs something.
Yeah. I even thought about using the legs, the arms reversed, so using left for right to get this cocked position.
Too much cock talk here.
Yeah,
Too much hot
we just left. We just left the tails and went for cocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds good. Do it.
Yeah, I'll figure that out. But
Simon?
you are for hands in first row, right?
Simon, we talked about how
Always.
this thing pretends to be a lictor. What if you did like a lictor arm setup where those front arms with the hands on it are in that slot, or they're like maybe a little bit lower, but then you create a new slot above that slot, and that's where you put the pincers. So it kind of like the hand arms are mounted
Ooh.
where like a human's shoulders, or sorry, a human's
Ooh.
arms mount, and then the other ones mount on top of the shoulders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, just a
Yes.
plug. I got this guy here. So I took a Hive Tyrant and I screwed around with it, but it's got top mounts where like a normal like Scything Talon or whatever would go. Like this is where the top mount would go, and then I've eliminated the bottom mount and I moved the mount way up here, so that it's got like a shoulder mount, like a Lictor.
Nice.
Yes.
You might need
Yeah,
to reposition
and
the arm.
Karen even has this opening up here.
Oh, nice.
What?
You might even reposition the ones that are going to have the hands on them so that they're closer to like the rib cage, like closer towards the middle of the chest.
Nope. Nope. There's no
Oh, it's
space
open.
there.
Right. Shit, it's open. Forgot about that hideous creation.
But I have an opening in the back carapace, so I can put them up there,
Cool.
and then have them pulled back like really far, so they can really snap forward.
Hmm. That would look really cool, I think. Almost like a back
Or I
mount.
could, yeah, or I could mount them regularly, so they could come around the head and work there, like a mandible.
Oh,
Almost.
interesting.
Yum 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 yum.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
I like
that
that.
will work. I'll worry about that later.
I've got a nice story about that. Many years ago, I watched a really large praying mantis, like a really big one,
Yep.
catch the largest butterfly you can imagine in a park in Bali. And the mantis was sitting on the top of the tree and was ripping apart the struggling butterfly piece by piece for a really long time. All the patience of an insect. I was thinking of the Lictor all the time because it was so horrible and so alien.
Nice.
Let's hope butterflies don't feel pain.
Yep. I actually took a lot of pictures of the scene. My
Yeah?
girlfriend couldn't watch it, but I took a lot of pictures of my macro setup on the camera.
You're like, look at how gruesome.
because
She's like, oh, gross.
That's the reason why the poor butterfly had to suffer.
Yeah.
The mantis was thinking that it's going to be discovered and being on. Like, oh yeah, look, my agent's already here.
I'm gonna be a star.
Yes, I'm going to be a star.
I'm gonna be a star.
Watch me eat that butterfly.
So Hydra, Karjan just commented, strong arms on top to hold it down, second row arms to eviscerate whatever it holds down with the arms and the legs.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Perfect. So my two pros, Nick and Simon. Why would I add Fimo to the green stuff? What
I
does
don't
it
do it anymore. Simon doesn't do it anymore either. Does he?
What?
Oh no, don't bother. Because what it does is it robs green stuff from its memory effect.
Okay.
So that less rubbery and you can smear it easier, so you can blend green stuff more.
Yeah.
Fimo is cheaper, so you can. I used it to have my green stuff last longer.
Okay.
And what it does is it elongs the curing time,
Yeah.
so you can work on things for way longer
Okay.
than you could without it.
Make longer laugh. Yeah.
Yep. Long, long, long.
Oh my god. Yeah, and I'd
Take
say that
all the pleasure.
you're trying to save your green stuff and make it make more green stuff out of less green stuff, I would go with epoxy sculpt because it's way cheap. But
Yeah.
I know it doesn't exist in
Of
Germany.
course you do. You eat,
Exactly. You can buy it now,
eat epoxy sculpt for breakfast.
I do.
but it's possible to buy it in Germany these days.
Really?
It's available here.
Do you have it, Marco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, like do you physically own
Yes.
some?
Yeah. I still use. I still use the epoxy sculpt I bought in Toronto, like 12 years ago.
No. Wow.
It's still
Good.
okay. I can. Yeah, it's not a joke. I can. It's still okay.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Me too, by the way.
No, you must have gotten through yours. Mr. Sculptor over here.
I think I still have some of the very first thing that I bought, but I fear that it might have spoiled over the time and changed to the next pot. But
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
I cannot understand why they don't repost our post on YouTube or on Instagram. I mean,
You mean like Aves, the company?
you are like biggest. You are making so many advertisements for them.
Yeah, well, I've
On,
chatted with them. I think they're more
the
into crafts.
blogosphere.
It's not me, man. It's
Yeah.
Calamity.
And
Calamity is pure epoxy. And he's got way more followers than me, and he's way more talented than me. If anyone should be doing ads for sculpting miniatures out of epoxy, it's Calamity. But-
He's not that famous because I don't know him, but I know you.
You don't know Calamity? He does Gundam
Point.
stuff.
Maybe I do, but I don't know him by name,
Uh,
so it doesn't strike a chord when you say his name.
here, I'm not doing any work anyway. Let's see if I can find him.
So
Get to work, Nick.
just 2 comments in there. So Blitz has arrived,
Hi, Blitz.
and he asks, "What is the big purple thing Moloch posted on Insta recently?"
I wish I knew.
Marco, I thought you keep track of your big purple things.
Well, today I think. How do you call the big street cleaning vehicles in English?
The big street killing vehicles?
Oh,
What street killing vehicles?
The vehicles you use to clean the streets, which make ba 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 ba.
Oh, street sweeper?
Clean.
Yes, probably. Because this is what just Hemming about suggested it should be like a big Tyranid dripper cleaning up all the biomatter.
I like that. Just hamming about as a smart person.
It's a nice idea, but it
And then
just doesn't match the symbiote hat I put on top. This is not really fitting.
And the other one, which actually leads us right into what we're talking about still, is from Hannibal Lictor going, Modern Synthesis, you use white putty and green stuff. Is there a reason to choose one over the other?
So I use... Hold on a sec. I just got everything set up and now I gotta change. So when you look at this model, there's white and there's green. So wherever you see green, that's epoxy putty mixed with green stuff. And I use that because I like the texture of it. The epoxy putty makes the green stuff softer, and the green stuff makes the epoxy putty like stretchier. So there's that. But the white stuff is a different... Oh, actually, if you see this guy, this is pure epoxy sculpt. So you can sculpt straight and pure epoxy sculpt, it works. It's just different. It's softer, so you got to get used to it. But Aves, the company that makes epoxy sculpt, they make at least two other kinds of clay. One is called epoxy clay, which is like harder, especially when you like file it and stuff. And one is called epoxy fix-it. And the fix-it stuff, I don't know why, but I got a bunch of it, and I've been using it to like stitch pieces together when I'm not doing like heavy detail work. Like I might try and sculpt a bit of detail into it. Like there's some like webbing detail in here, but I go for like the green layer for the extra fine detail. But like, yeah, I'm just using fix-it because it's hard. Like, you can't really tell, but when you use epoxy putty green stuff, it's rubbery, and when you mix it with this stuff, with epoxy sculpt, it gets harder. Like this stuff, you can like scrape this stuff and sand it, but fix-it and epoxy clay is even harder. So like, I had just kind of like glued these things on in our last stream, and they were barely glued on, just like a little bit of super glue, and that was it. But then I reinforced them with fix-it, and now they're like if I really tried hard enough, I could crack that off there, but I can just knock this thing around and everything's fine. So yeah, so I used the fix-it to reinforce stuff underneath and to build up the under layer, and then I go over and do like a fine detail layer with the epoxy and the green stuff. So like here you can see I filled in these gaps because I cut the pieces. I filled that in with fix-it, and then I went back and I sculpted the actual plates with a mix of epoxy sculpt and the green stuff. But what I wanted to show you is this guy. So if you look at this, this is pretty much all sculpted with epoxy sculpt. So see that pink stuff in there? That's all sculpted on, and like he machines it, like he like sands it and like carves it and stuff. The other stuff in here might be sculpted as well. So this is Calamity. This is the guy who's like should be repping for epoxy sculpt, because like look at this. He does do a lot of like he'll sculpt a rough shape and then he'll machine it down. Oh, I don't know if it's a he. I think it's a he. So you see the kind of pinkish taupe material here? That's all epoxy stuff. Like APOXIE, epoxy. Yeah, so he'll sculpt a rough shape and then go in and like machine it, fill it. Very talented. So if anyone should be repping epoxy sculpt, it should be this person. Like look at this. Like all of this pink is hand sculpted with either epoxy sculpt or epoxy clay. Anyway, that's Calamity.
Well, it looks awesome, but I think he's on such a high level that whenever someone sees that, he will instantly be like, "Oh, okay, this is so far beyond my level. I will never be able to do that." So
might have a point.
The reason why I think you should, represent epoxy is because you give people an angle to it, how they can make it work for themselves and make it usable.
Yeah.
And I think there's a great difference between making art and teaching art.
As an art teacher, you have experience.
You should know about that.
Yeah, I might be a shitty artist, but I do my best to teach it.
No, you're a great artist and a great teacher.
No.
Or, I don't know, maybe you're a shitty teacher and a great artist. Who knows?
Okay.
Oh, Kajan's going to sleep. I feel like we've been like completely ignoring the comments. What?
So I've got a quick question. Which epoxy sculpt do you use? Do you use like the natural, the white? Which one do you use?
I use natural. This is natural.
Who is you?
I bought
Natural.
pink one time, and it came like partially like it was like dried out. Oh, this is actually the epoxy that I was able to save. So I don't know. I haven't really like it was cracked. If you ever get epoxy and the lid is cracked, you need to return it because it'll dry out. So I tried colored epoxy before, and it kind of gave me like a weird result. So I've been kind of shying away from that and using the natural stuff. But you can get it in different
Reason I
colors.
asked is I just found a website.
Yeah. What was
I
that,
just
Flynn?
found a site in the UK that sells it. So I'm just going to paste it in chat. Found a site in the UK that actually sells it.
I think one of the main questions is how much it costs, because when you hear what Nick pays for it, it makes sense that he eats it for breakfast.
Yeah, it's really cheap over here.
I think you can buy it on Amazon in Germany, but you pay, I think, double the price.
At least.
At least, yeah.
How much do you get it for then, Nick?
Okay, I'm just looking at what you posted. So that's for one. That's clay. Sculpt. We've got the silver and the white. The white shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so what they're charging you at this link in pounds, that's what I pay in Canadian dollars. So you're paying twice as much.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think it's because it's well, actually I lie. The 1 pound option is okay. I guess I would pay about $10 more than this. So like they're selling 4 pounds of epoxy sculpt for 39 pounds. I would pay about 49 Canadian dollars. But that's because it's made in the States and it's easy to get to Canada. And this is just further proof that I should be selling all you dudes epoxy sculpt, man. What's that, Simon?
Bring it on.
Goddamn.
I think the weight, that it's so heavy that it comes in those big containers.
Yeah.
That makes it very very not lucrative to import for retailers.
Probably right.
I still remember smuggling my kilograms of it.
Yep, me too.
It's like
that's
I
also
don't know,
gonna
it's
be-
definitely worth it, but it's
I
so
think that is actually the
it's that
cheapest
expensive.
place. Amazon.
So that's the cheapest you found, Flynn?
Yeah. But yeah, Amazon's got everything way more than that. Even just like the 1 pound pots are more than what they're selling
Yeah.
for the 4 pound pot.
So I thought about trying to set up a shop. I talked to Aves. Aves was down. My issue was I wanted to be able to sell green stuff as well, and I'm having a lot of trouble getting in touch with green stuff manufacturers.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, can I really sell epoxy sculpt if I don't sell green stuff? Like, everyone knows green stuff. Who's going to want to buy epoxy sculpt? I mean, just you converts, but I don't know if that's enough to base a business on.
No.
As long as you can sell it cheaper than what we don't call, what we won't mention sells it for.
Oh, yeah, that
or a
junk
decent
place.
price for it. Yeah, everyone would start buying.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good point.
And the other one, the Side Crate, that was ridiculous.
Slide Create is ridiculous? Is that really expensive, or?
As long as... So I went and had a look at the receipt I had for it last time.
Yeah.
It basically charged me in like tax, postage, whatever they wanted to call it, for basically the cost of another roll of green stuff, and I was just like,
Uh-oh.
that's not worth it. Where I found
And aren't they
a
based in the UK?
seller on eBay who was selling it for based in the UK, and it's so much cheaper from the one I'm getting it. The other one I'm getting it from. So
Interesting.
I post that in the chat once I've got the green stuff up, because he is so cheap at 36-inch rolls.
Oh, at JHT they sell green stuff?
I haven't actually looked at JHT, but on eBay I've got there's a seller who sells a 36-inch roll for
Yeah.
just above 11 quid.
Oh, see, I can't compete with that.
I'm not giving that link out yet. Let me see.
See, the only issue with me is that I'm based in Canada, and shipping in Canada is a nightmare. Marco, I was going to ask you, like the last time we were you working on like a Battlestar Galactica DVD case or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
Maybe.
what is that you're working on there?
Why do you ask?
Just because it's an interesting work
Right now?
surface. Yeah, what's that thing with like the weird monster on it?
This one?
Yeah.
Well, it says it's a Mr. Hyde, and it's a promotional sheet I got when ordering an alien bust from New York, I think, from Blackheart Mobiles.
Oh.
And they put in a couple of promotional sheets for other busts they have. This
Yeah.
is Mr. Hyde.
Oh. He looks a little rough.
How about the Terminator? That's it?
Oh,
Just
nice.
old paper shit I keep for usually
What?
nothing special.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there was one like it looked like it had like 7 on it or something. Wait, not 7. What's her name? Who's that?
I
The
think it's
sexy
7.
Cylon?
Isn't it?
Is it 7? Or is that 7
I
of
think
9?
wasn't it 7?
I don't know. Can't remember.
It was Trisha half of
Yeah.
the actor, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay, where's your third arm when you need one?
Haven't grafted it
Become a
on
kin
yet.
stealer.
Yeah,
Go talk to the homunculus.
I would trade my. I just need that third arm right now. I would swim in any pond if it promised me that I get a third arm.
You might regret that, buddy. Might get more than you bargained for.
Well, yeah, it looks stupid. It looks stupid with the t-shirt, but I don't mind.
Ladies love people with forearms. Guys are so
Yeah, that's how they get you into the cult, right? Come to us, we have 3 and 4 arms. Ladies love that.
Ladies love it.
Of course.
However, the ladies in the cult also have 4 arms, so you know.
Yeah,
Damn.
and they know how to use them.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Okay,
What?
so this is a bit random, but what I'm working on is actually like an old mycetic spore that I tried to make, or a crash spore. I don't know why. I dug it out, and I want to finish it, and there's like this bit that goes in here. And this is kind of like my inspiration for what I'm doing with the Tyrannocyte. I guess I should explain what the heck's going on here.
Sometimes you just have to take a step back.
I know. I'm really good at taking a step back. I'm like, oh, let's start this thing. Oh, let's do something different. So, similar crash down spore thing. So
I
this is
bet
one
I
of the...
beat you with the old Mercedes spore.
What?
I bet I beat you with the oldest Mercedes spore. The one I have here is from Epicast.
Oh my god, yeah, that's the oldest. Is that light
an old-
resin? Like that
It's an
expanding
old
resin?
foam one. It's like totally light and shitty.
Yeah.
Or didn't you mean the most painful anal plug ever?
Oh,
Have you
God.
tried it?
I did.
Tell us about it.
Could fit twice.
So yeah, so this was one of my old Tyranid barricades, and I just put some like foam under here and sculpted some epoxy sculpt on it as if it was dirt, as if it was like plowed into the ground. And I clipped off one of the things, and I'm trying to add a little tail. Because back when we had mycetic spores in the Tyranid Codex, I think they would like crash down and they just have a gun on them. So I was gonna like attach a gun to this thing, but I kind of want to finish them both together now. So I'm just trimming up the armor plates on this
There
guy.
are no acidic spores anymore.
No. They were replaced by the Tyrannocyte, the thing I'm supposed to be working on. So,
Well, same
mycetic,
thing, huh?
mycetic spores used to be like they would crash down and they would turn into terrain. It was like a drop pod, right? Like you have a Space Marine drop pod,
Yep.
it lands and then it just sits there. But apparently that's not cool enough for Tyranids, so they instead made the big floaty sack that comes down, drops the Tyranid, and then floats around shooting things.
Okay. I just misunderstood and thought they got rid of them altogether.
Oh, of the Tyrannocyte?
Like, yeah, no one needs air deliverance.
No, it's just different now.
Okay.
Hey guys, what did I miss? Because my Discord just crashed.
I was wondering why you were like strangely quiet.
But you are back, right?
Yeah. All of a
Nick-
sudden it was just like,
Nick was talking badly about your sister.
Oh my god.
damn you. She's a school teacher. How could you do that?
Does she have 4 arms?
Oh, Simon was talking about how he wanted a third
Hey,
arm.
that helps me get more work done quicker. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I should...
Oh, it was the third arm that crashed you. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that I found out about this super glue baking powder thing.
You didn't know about it
Okay.
before. Wait, did I teach you something?
I've used it. I don't know, maybe.
God, first time.
Possible.
I won't get too excited.
Maybe you've told me, and maybe I did not believe you. And when I worked on a terrain project, I used that to create texture
Yes.
on something, just adding super glue, and because I wanted something very fine, even finer than sand.
Mhm.
And yeah, and since then I have this little box of baking powder, and that's helping me right now like hell.
It's so good for setting super
So
glue,
what
like,
what are you
instantly.
baking?
Karen.
I am baking Karen, yeah.
You're baking greatness.
I am baking great. Yeah, I think I have tricked myself because now I have this, you might see this, that her the part between her hip bones and her rib cage,
Yeah.
so it's pointing the wrong way, and I'm not sure what to do about that.
Uh-oh. Oh, Atelier's going to bed. Good night, Atelier.
Because I finally have her in a position that I'm happy with. Sorry?
Just fix it with green stuff in post. That's what I do.
Yeah. I think I'll just cover the area with something and pretend that everything's cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, come on, you're already dealing
But
with a
I
model
think
that's
I
so...
can claim... I think I can claim that I have her in position now.
Oh my god.
I can claim to have her in position now.
I feel like you're way further ahead than
What's
I am.
that noise?
Sorry, it's me being a mess. I'm digging through a bits box.
I wish I would get a penny.
I got the funniest idea here.
What?
Okay.
You remember my X concept with a big X sack?
Yeah.
Having the biomatter shoved into the back of the X sack to make ammunition?
Yes?
Yeah.
If you look at my camera feed right now, you see a drone with 2 big hands, 2 big claws.
Ooh!
And you can really imagine the drone flying and just shoving everything into the asshole of the exocrine. Like, take this, take this, take this. I can't do it. It's so funny, but it's really funny. Like,
I thought that guy was supposed to be the
push more
head.
inside.
I thought he was the head.
No, this one is supposed to be the spotter drone. The head is here.
Oh, that's the other one. Gotcha.
Drone head.
That,
Exactly.
that would be like a the biological version of one of those robots.
What robots?
Just a floaty ball robot with large arms.
And just shoving shit into the asshole of the exocrine to make more ammunition. So funny.
Shoving shit into the asshole.
Oh my God.
Map.
Children.
The day was way too long for that.
Must fit more biomatter inside. Must fit more biomatter inside.
What does your wife say after tired comes stupid?
Silence the screams. Silence the screams.
Okay. So
Hydra,
I
we
would
need
like
the-
to present you Karen's pose.
Bring it.
Well, that arm is not final yet,
Ooh.
but I think I have her in place now.
You're not gonna leave her
So
there,
someone
right?
said on what?
Are you gonna leave her? Like, you're gonna sculpt her off it
I
and
have
put
what?
her on, right?
Yeah, I can still remove her,
Yeah.
but someone said that the stretched out leg reminded him of the Alien Queen in Aliens when she
interesting.
stepped off the aircraft.
Yeah.
And that's spot on. I think my subconsciousness has been throwing that image at me, and so here it is. And I think that there's so much life in there.
Yep. Yep.
So it looks lethal. Yes, there you go. So
Great.
I think
Life
when
is
you look
lethal.
from that angle, you can see
Yeah.
you can see
So you're
nicely
not-
into the ribcage.
You're not going to bend the lamppost then?
Maybe I will with the I bend it. You can see that, but
Yeah.
maybe I will use the upper claw arm to bend it.
Yeah, it still works.
Although what I really like about the lamppost is that it's like acting as a frame for that area, and
Oh.
you have her face like coming out of that frame. So I'm not sure
This
about
fancy
bending
guy with
that
his
somewhere.
frames.
And always using lanterns for some reason.
Really?
Yes. Every freaking diorama I build has lanterns. Yeah.
I didn't notice
Simon
that.
has been using lanterns all the time.
I didn't notice that.
Must be a fetish thing.
Yeah.
He is German.
I need someone to stand below that. I think it's just it's such a easy way to create negative space. Because otherwise this area would have looked empty, but now I have
You mean to
something in
fill
there.
negative space?
And it fits and it gives to create, like there's before it would have been like the whole composition would have been like that, like a swoop downwards,
Yeah.
and now I have this this lantern here. It sort of stops the viewer here
Mhm.
and circles the eye back here, and so it circles a while here.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, you would have felt like something was missing if you didn't have the lamppost there.
Yeah. I had planned to place the lamppost on the other side, but then it would have just added to this very diagonal composition. And I feel that having the lamppost here sort of breaks that composition.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I spend too much time with my training teacher and trying to think about how I can teach kids composition.
That's good.
Damn professionals.
No,
This is teacher
Nope,
boy.
no, far from professional. He's probably not seeing that because he doesn't know I'm doing these kind of things, but he's not. I know he has already signed a contract and he will be a teacher somewhere far away from me, and that will be fine, and someone might find his view on things useful, but
You don't get along?
Yeah, he's. People say about me that I'm living on different planets, and he's like on the other. He's living on different planets as well, but on the other side of the galaxy.
Okay.
For real, he cannot understand why kids why 12-year-old kids who are busy with Instagram and all those things, why they cannot take joy from looking at a tree and figuring out how to paint it. He absolutely has no clue. He's like, why don't they like that?
You're like not engaging enough, buddy.
Yeah.
Robert, I got a headache and a long day tomorrow. I'm afraid I gotta go now.
Yeah, we were supposed to finish early because you guys all have work tomorrow. Well, I have work too, but it's early. Oh, Marco?
On that train as well?
Warren says your chocolate's gone a bit funny.
Like, this stuff?
Mm-hmm. I don't think you should eat that chocolate.
What chocolate is Warren referring to?
That. It looks like bad chocolate. It looks like disgusting chocolate that's gone off.
Disgusting? I have in front of me?
Yeah.
I don't know, brother, what kind of chocolate you are having over there, but in Germany, this is not how our chocolate looks like. Not at all.
It looks like one of those, what are they called? Flakes? Is that what they're called, Flynn?
Yeah, flakes, whispers, like it's
Yeah.
thin chocolate stuff.
Ah, I see, okay. Now it makes more sense. I think Warren's from Ireland, isn't he?
Is he? I thought Warren was from the UK. I didn't know he was from Ireland.
I thought so.
I think
Warren,
he's the only
tell-
one left, him and Jacob, because Jacob's in North America. Everyone else has gone to bed.
Oh yeah, loads of people have got it. There's one bit I've had from a very nice person said, did anyone see the Tyranid site conversion with the Carnifex in it by Monkey Chucker? Yes,
Don't we
I remember
talk
she
about that every
showed it on
week?
the stream. a couple-
Yeah, don't we talk about that like every week?
Yeah, basically.
Actually, I should
We
go
do.
pull it up again.
Yes, let's get it up.
Yeah, that's a classic. That one's really good.
Yeah, Monkey Chucker's got loads of amazing things on there.
But not Monkey Chunk is not on like any kind of social, right? Just his website?
It's just his blog. Yeah.
Old school.
Agreed. Now I see why it looks like chocolate. Warren's right. It does look like brownish stuff. For real, it's like very purple. This is why I wasn't connecting.
Oh, on the stream it looks.
The sponges look really purple, and when I see it on the screen here, it looks like brownish, which is
Yeah.
totally wrong for me. Got your point.
Yo, Bargeist. Bargeist gets massive Transformer points. I still function.
What does he get?
He made a reference to Transformers.
Pumpernickel bread, Blitzmechanica.
What? Pumpernickel, there you go. I was saying everyone went to bed, and Bargeist's reaction was, I still function, from Transformers.
Ah. Pumpernickel is a German dark bread.
Mm-hmm.
Like really old school. Really old school.
Yeah, we eat it in non-German land too. It's probably not like
Really?
real pumpernickel.
Why?
Yeah.
Tastes like shit.
Sometimes you need a bread that tastes like
Why
shit.
would you eat that?
Sometimes you just need a little bit of shit taste.
Guys, I gotta go.
I think we all gotta go. I think
So
you guys are tired.
I
One of
will
you's
take
tired.
the thought to bed with me.
One of you's stupid, and I'm drunk.
Good point.
Before
It's
we
been a
go,
long-
I just wanna do a short shout out to Stalin Schnauzbart, and he has a blog as well. And I'm saying that because he offered me to send me bits, and he did because he saw me moaning about having no Furies, and he sent me his leftover bits from them.
Mm-hmm.
And he put a complete Slanish model in there as well.
Oh,
What a nice guy.
So yeah, so because of the
What? He gave you the harp?
The one on Twitter, Stalin Schnauschbach.
He's on Instagram. I just pulled him up.
Say again.
Also sent
Did he send
Yeah,
you the
that's
harp?
Symbio Joe.
Symbio Joe, yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
He sent you the harp.
Look at that.
Are
Isn't
you
that amazing?
fucking
And
kidding me? How did he?
It was.
Right.
How does he just have like a harp extra? Like that model's amazing.
Yes, it is. And I cut my fingers so badly while opening this package, but
Look
I'm
at the
still
model.
in
You gotta
awe
breathe.
at all those pieces and bits. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really keen for the face, but of the demonette.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest is so cool, and I will turn the victim into something wicked for the alignment 28 because this kneeling dude is like.
Wait. Stop. Simon, right now. I'm getting pissed.
What?
About what?
I sent you a Demarcaeron, and you never said thanks.
Oh my god. Marco, if someone sent you a Dimacaron, would you
your
thank them or would you want to
reward
punch
is
them in the
me
face?
suffering every week.
Okay,
Marco,
okay, joking.
You sent him a Dimacaron and you should be saying sorry, is what you should be saying.
This is true.
You see how
This
much
is
the man
very
is
true.
suffering?
Sorry, Simon.
I think I'm relishing in my pain for weeks now.
What
Yeah.
does Borat say? I'm so sorry. Not.
Oh my god. This is getting stupid.
Alright,
Okay,
it is. The good kind of stupid.
indeed.
After tired comes. Oh fuck, I fucked up. Shall I finish it the way I always finish it?
So,
Yes.
you need an outro. We don't have an intro, but we need an outro.
I don't know how to make an outro work on
We have
streaming.
one.
Oh my god, it's like a hurricane outside. What the fuck? Sorry. Guys, thank you so much. Thanks
That's
for...
an interesting.
That's the outro.
If the tree falls on my garage, I love you all. There's the outro.
Okay, have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, and thanks for putting up with my bullshit with the rumor thing. I was really glad to have you guys talk about that.
It was great fun, again.
Yeah.
Despite my headache. Thanks so much.
I'm
Yeah, it's
impressed you did
great,
it with
man.
Henry.
I'm sorry I couldn't get the comments all read this
No,
time.
don't worry, man. We were just like
Please
talking
come back,
shit.
Flynn.
Thank you so much, Flynn. It was good to have you on. I was glad to have your opinions on all the rumor stuff too.
Yeah.
Agreed.
This is
That's
Mr.
alright.
Pink saying goodbye.
This was Hydra.
Moloch, saying goodbye.
Hammer signing off.
Long
And
live the
together we
Long Queen.
transform into the ultimate creature conference monster thing.
Long live the Non Queen.
Long live the
Yes.
Norn Queens.
And
Good night,
I
gents.
think that Symbio Joe has to write a summary of that battle and how it went.
Which battle?
Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Oh, the battle. Oh, gotcha. That he like.
Bye.
introduced.
Th-
Bye.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Good night and good fight.
Yeah.
Bye.